guys, want to talk about tire chains, air pressure, and ground contact. Now, my old chains were smaller than this. These are 3/8, but I made them out of my semi-tire chains, and they were working fine. I had good traction, and I had the tread going all the way around. Through, I'll show a picture of what I had on there. But they started breaking, and I didn't catch it. But what happened was it caught, a loop broke, and it caught right here on that metal fender. And I mean, it caught it bad. And it just bent it out a little bit. It did not... I'm wondering now, not starting a fight unless somebody wants to. If that was that plastic on a John Deere, with it being as cold as it was outside, if that would have cracked that plastic. It just made me wonder, but tapped her back in. Can't even tell it happened really, but I thought something major broke under the tractor. So anyways, let's get back to this. So I've got, I went to price out new chains, and they have really gone up in price. And, $1,200 we were looking. I kind of wanted the Trig style, or, a studded chain at least, Aqualine. And at the last minute, I looked on Marketplace there, and anyways, I found these on a 3720 John Deere. A guy was selling. He sold the tractor, and he forgot he had the chain, so he was stuck with them. I got them for $200 or I think it was $200. And I thought, it was kind of a same 3 Series style, so I thought they'd fit, and it actually did. It was the same. I looked at cross-reference. So anyways, it got a good score, but I wanted these all the way. I wanted another one here and the connection because of the ride deal. Well, I got these, tried them out, and it rode so damn rough. It was shaking shaking the loader arms and everything. It was god-awful. And I did a little research, and caught Tractor Mike talking about tire pressures. And I went back and I looked, and let me show you what I found here. So I looked back in an old picture of my tractor sitting in here from a distance with the chains on it. And when I looked down at the bottom from a ways back so I could get the angle, that's where the picture was. It was kind of, if you can see, it's only sitting on the chain. The tire's not touching anywhere. Now, you're really reducing the ground contact, but you're also just reduced to the chain. You're not using the tire whatsoever. And I got to thinking, that when the chains weren't on, it was the same way, that outside of the lug, or the lugs here. That's a pretty good gap. I mean, I can get my hand in there, knuckle deep. But that's not on the grass cutting and everything. These R4s are horrible for. R14s weren't available when I bought the tractor, and I got them. R1's going to rip up my grass too much. And so anyways, I got to thinking, let's just check tire pressures with, with different tractors. And Tractor Mike, he did a deal on this, and several others did. These guys are talking like 8 pounds. And I'd read the comments, and sometimes you got to listen to these old fellers that have been farmers their whole life with old stuff. You just get some good info. And So the Kubota says 30 psi on the tractor. I didn't go by the tire here. I went by the manufacturer. So on their rear tire, on this size tire, they say 30 psi. So that's what this is at. And I've got the 15 by 19.5. So, yeah, so just to make sure, I just aired this to make sure it was at 15, so I'll verify that here quick. Okay, as you can see, we're at 30 psi. All right, now I'm not going to bore you with me deflating this. Okay, now as you can see, we'll give her a little more here. There. Now we're just under 10. Now let's take a look at what we have for surface contact. Nothing's changed. The tractor hasn't moved. But now, not only are the chains touching, but the lugs are touching. And you're using a wider footprint of the tire. And I can tell you, smooth ride right out. There's maybe up here on the concrete, there's a little bit of a notice, but now the tire's flexing down. The chain's, doing its job more. You're using more of the chain. You're not just using, because this is where I was braking, was right here. Well, that's all that was touching. Now, everything's touching the full width. It's dirty because I was outside and we don't have shit for snow. And I wanted to dig my snow piles that I had with some gravel in it and drop it back on the driveway because we're going to be 66 tomorrow with rain. But, yeah, it just... I should have probably, when it was full, we got some slack in the tire now, but we also have a lot more surface area, and my heaviest implement is my rear blade. My blower's close to it, but I pick them up and you don't even see a squat on the rear tire. So worrying about, I've seen somewhere they're actually, the rear tire is flexing and all that, and you don't have any of that. This is set for this size tire. Some 40 horse have this tire, and then they talk about the weight rating and how much it can lift compared to the weight of the tractor and all that. Well, okay, we got a 2,600 pound tractor. Loader arms and all that's going to the front. Now, I'm not saying dump air in the front because you need that pressure for the tires, but in the back, I had my snowblower picked all the way up. I got my box blade on now, but it doesn't change a thing. You get a little more, but you're not even getting a side bulge out of the tire. But what a difference it made plowing snow, getting traction. Now we're using the lug and the chain for traction, and the tires actually got some flex in them at the 30 psi they came with. Those things are rock hard. There's no flex, and that's why they're horrible on wet grass. But now I can't wait to when I'm mowing with the rear mower, because that was just a little bit of wet grass, even with the, if I usually mow with the loader arms off, so you don't have as much weight up on the front, but it just takes nothing for this to lose traction on the wet grass and that with this tire tread. And I think it's going to be a huge noticeable improvement. And I also noticed just making tracks in the snow before, how it was a pretty narrow footprint going. And now we're using this full width, the whole width of the tractor or the tire is touching. And that's what Tractor Mike was showing too, was that they were just wearing on a very narrow strip because of the rounded tires, and then they're running R1s on a lot of the stuff. But boy, that, shout out to him, shout out to the old boys. I want your comments on this if anybody's done it, and if you haven't, I'd say, especially with the L2501, don't hesitate to try it, because I plowed a couple snow, not really storms, but just a couple snows. We had our we didn't get much snow this year. It's pretty rare for our place, but about a couple 4-inch snows, but there was some drifts in that, but a lot of ice this year. And it just rode so much better and got so much better traction over even when I had the old chains on. But yeah, I'd really like to know if anybody else has tried. And if not, I think you should try just dumping the air down to like 10 psi, because it just made a whole difference in the way the tractor handles. And like I said, there's, even when the 3-point, the box blade's up in the air. I guess here, I'll just hold on, I'll fire it up and lift it up quick. So there it is with the box blade off the ground. I don't know, I think that's like 400 pounds. It ain't too heavy. But my, it's the same. Obviously, it's going to flex a little and get a little more pressure. But as you can see down, there's not even a flex on it. And like I said, some of those, they're rated, well, how much are you lifting? Are you lifting 4,000? How many thousands of pounds are you lifting or putting on that rear end? And this is, the weight's up in the front. You got the engine, the loader, and all that is up on the front. So a 2,600 pound machine, we're probably not 2,000 pounds on this back. And they're talking about, is it 5,000, 6,000, or whatever you're putting on it compared to the weight in the tractor, worrying about flexing the back and spinning the tire off the blade. So, man, give it a try. I think you're really going to like the results. And hell yeah.